There's that funky slide guitar music that comes in every Monday through Friday, live at 5 on the Evil P Network, Rumble, X, YouTube. Check us out, subscribe. Type in News or Roy Blicker. You see my nice smiling, shining face. Lots of stuff coming up today. Of course, we'll join the Mighty Make KMT at the bottom of the hour like we usually do. Lots of goodies coming up on that. Steve and Chad running for governor, and we got to get them in the top two. They're going to end the car registration ripoff. It has been far too long that this has been going on. Some people are paying up to $2,000 for their car registration. Bianco's got a $25 a year hard cap. Steve Hilton, $71. Either way, we're a winner. That's why we got to get these two guys in the top two. So that's your only choice in California, whether you like it or not. Democratic policies are burning our state to the frickin' ground. Gulag Gavin Newsom. He's got a new book out. Plus, Vogue had a tongue-slapping article on Gavin Newsom. Holy bleeping cow. Hopefully we'll get to that too. Newsom and Cruz. The insanity could finish California with this frickin' mileage tax coming up. They're trying that proposal again. After we thought it was dead, here it comes back again in all its glory. It's absolutely ridiculous. The prices you're going to pay on top of that with the sales tax, we're paying $2.50 a gallon, almost $2 a gallon on taxes now. Most of it going to the state of California. We are freaking insane. Bill Essayli said we are not playing. Agitators are carried off in ICE restores the peace in LA during the weekend when the paid agitators, and we'll have more on that too coming up in a bit on that. Two things with both the car registration and the mileage tax. It's absolutely critical. Critical. And again, the 1980 Chevrolet truck, almost $300 a year. What the hell? If you got a new car, it's $1,000 on up. If you got an expensive car, you're paying upwards of $2,000 a year just to register the thing. Most every state has a hard cap. Hardly any state charges more than $100 a year to register your car. Yet us dummies out here in California are paying a ridiculous, isn't even close to being a sane fee to register your car. Again, this is why we got to elect Steve or Chad to the governorship. And we do this by getting them in the top two in June. I don't want to hear from all these other ding-dongs that say, because either one of them loses to Betty Yee by 15 points and more. If it's a Democrat, we got to hammer the crap out of Matt Mahan now that he's jumped in. And all of them, we get Steve and Chad in the top two. Then it's over. Then whichever man wins, I'm perfectly fine with it. It's imperative that we get that in. And we guarantee that by getting Steve and Chad in the top two in June. And then they can't play any skullduggery because it's over for the rats and the lefties and the stupids and this. Unless you want this. There's another one we had up in iNewsWire. The mileage tax is making its comeback again. Of course, Newsom didn't want it on his watch because he wants to run for president, so he didn't want it coming up. Now that Newsom's going out, bills before the California legislature just introduced to put the mileage tax back on. This will absolutely kill. This will kill California to a T. Here's Kate Sanchez, our IE Assembly member.
Like you, my family and I spent our weekend driving to tournaments, practices, church, spending time with family and friends. We were on the road a lot, And now Sacramento supermajority Democrats want to charge us by the mile. Yes, you heard that right. By the mile, just for driving. In California, where gas is already the most expensive in the entire country. I represent a commuter district. People here don't drive just because they love California traffic. They drive because that's how they get to work.
And this is what's going to kill California. They get this mileage tax. They're not saying we're going to take the sales tax off. They're using it electric cars. We're going to have a deal with that. Musk just canceled 2 lines of electric cars because they're not selling. He's going to build robots in the factory. And this is going to happen across the board. Electricity costs are going up higher than gas costs. And now that they're not getting the subsidies on these things, these electric cars, which means the rest of us were paying the bill for other people to drive stupid cars. And if they want to do that, that's fine. They should pay the full freight. But this on top of the gas taxes and AB 32, and over $2 a gallon we are paying, and mostly to the state of California, on a gallon of gas. That's where this thing is. The reason we are 50% consistently higher is that we'll have some more on this. Let's finish up with Kate Sanchez.
How they pay the bills and take care of their families. Our nurses, our policemen, our firemen, our construction workers, our warehouse workers, and our small business owners. People who don't have the luxury of working from home. This mileage tax means the more you work, the more Sacramento will charge you. That is not climate policy. That is a straight up tax on the working class.
There you go. It's a straight up tax on the working class. We got to be the biggest frickin' maroons if we buy into this absolute stupidity. Here's what they're proposing. 30 cents a frickin' mile. That's a round trip from Riverside to LA would be $36. That's more than you're paying for the gas. Most people with the gas mileage cars are getting today, that's more than you're paying for the actual gas just in the mileage tax. Mind you, they're not getting rid of the sales tax or the AB 32 tax or the phony tax on the refiners. It's about 75 cents a gallon that nobody except me talks about. We'll have more from some in the refining industry, and we'll get into a lot more of this stuff on that here as we roll with the rest of the show. Yes, we will. It's beyond stupid. 30 cents per mile tax, that's what they're not telling you. That's what their number is. Again, 120 mile round trip. A lot of people make this every day. Every day. Go to work 5 days a week. $36. $180 a week is going to come out of your check if you commute from Riverside to LA every week to go to work. 180 more. $720 more a month. Well, no, there's 21 days. $756 per month. These nutcases are absolutely 111% insane with a capital I. And again, they're not dropping any. They're not dropping any. Zero. They're not dropping zero. of any of the AB 32, sales tax, gas tax, every other tax that total over $2 a gallon. When you tell all the charges and fees and everything in California, it's absolutely nuts. They say what bananas? Beyond bananas. The great Ashley Zavala, as you see, had one of the muckety-mucks from one of the refiners, and she's explaining how, gas prices are down right now, mainly because Trump has got the price of a barrel of oil down to less than $60. So that's $1.50 a gallon right there. We used to figure even with inflation, we used to figure another $1 a gallon to refine it, deliver it, whatever. And that's why the national average is about $2.50 a gallon right now. So you take whatever the price of a barrel of oil is per gallon, add about $1 a gallon to it, and you're going to get the price of what gas should be. And that's about where we're at. Except in California, we're paying 50% more because of the stupidity we've had out here. And there's a lot of other factors going on in here. There's a temporary glut overseas in gas because they're not using it because their economies have slowed down because we're not buying so much junk from them, which we shouldn't have been doing anyway. So they're going to recover, and this is where it's going to hit because the Benicia plant up in Martinez, up there in the Bay Area, the Valero one, the last one that was built in the year 2000, 26 frickin' years ago. We have not built a new refinery in California in 26 years. And that was the newest one we had, and it's closing down, and nobody wanted to buy it. They couldn't sell it. The state of California, Newsom was lobbying, gave out the free burner phones or whatever to all the oil execs. And there was no way the Benicia plant could be saved. It probably can't be saved. Here's the great Ashley Zavala on her California Politics 360 show. As we say, here we go.
Has said that refinery in Benicia is expected to sit idly. And his office seems to interpret that as that there's a chance that production could begin again at some point. I mean, is that how you see it right now?
That is not my understanding. Really, the state failed to save Valero. And it's unfortunate.
The state didn't fail to save Valero. They killed it. With all the stupid policies and the taxes and the rules and regulations. Phillips 66 down here with the one that's closing up in a couple months. Down in Torrance. Same thing. They said every time we turn around, it's a $2 million fine, $10 million fine, $100 million fine. We just said the hell with it. On top of all the rules and regulations and all this stuff, you're driving us out of business. Believe me, if there was a profit to be made, maybe Valero just said, California ain't for us. Yeah, we're in Texas. We got too much to do. Hey, if it was profitable to refine gas and diesel and av fuel, somebody would buy it. Nobody. There's hundreds, thousands, millions of people, hedge funds, whatever, would have bought the darn thing. Okay, you don't want to do business in California. You got other things going on. Hey, we'll take it off your hands. We'll make the money. Here it is. We'll buy it. No. Jody Mueller from Western States Petroleum Association, as I can read it now. Here we go.
Because they do represent a market share here in California that we could use. Demand is not going down.
Even sitting idly, I mean, what would it take?
She's had a key spot there. Demand is not going down. Ever. Maybe someday. Look, Musk, we're going to have the article. Musk is eliminating 2 brands of electric cars because they ain't selling. Going to build robots in that factory, same cannon. Ashley's going to ask the question, is there a way to save the refinery up in Benicia or the one down, the Phillips 66 one down in Torrance?
Facility back up and running if there was even the slightest chance. I know you're saying there's not, but just what would restarting an idle facility look like?
Yeah, in talking to my members, it is a very complicated process. And once something is shut down, restarting it, it's not like flipping a switch. So it would take a large amount of time, effort, money.
Mueller's being very nice. Everybody in the refining industry or knows something about it, or just people that want to make money. So to know you can't do it. That's why it's closing. Because if jackasses like Gavin Newsom and Corey Jackson and Ulysses Cabrera and Robert Rivas and Isaac Bryan and all those yo-yos for decades have screwed us over, and now we're paying the price. Now their solution, we're going to charge you another $36 just to drive from Riverside to LA to go to work. Every day, 21 days a month. That's $200 or $756. I'm getting so mad I can't even add straight.
And finding the workforce, because the workforce is now going to find other jobs and go out and, look elsewhere. So it's very complicated, and the supply into the refinery would have to be restarted. So there are a lot of logistical challenges.
This is what's going on with the pipeline. That's what they told Newsom. They said, you shut down the refinery, we can't pump enough oil through the pipelines now to feed the other refineries that are up there. What the hell's going to happen? Most of the oil refined there comes out of Bakersfield or the Central Valley area. They pump it up there. With the Benicia plant closing, they said, we can't pump enough oil through the line. It'll start gumming up. We got to remove a certain amount of oil through the line, or else the line starts to plug up. On top of the workers, you might shut the rest of them down just because, or it's going to have to be all imported oil, which, you know what? That's going to cause way more pollution. Pollution you never thought, because it's going to come over overseas in ships, and some of the dirtiest. Those ships that carry the oil, or those Chinese products or whatever, are some of the most polluting things that we know of. Vessels we know of. Let me get the right word. They burn straight crude oil and let it roll right out the stacks, and you're breathing it every frickin' day. And you're going to be breathing more of it because of the stupid frickin' policies in California. When do you yo-yos wake up? It's not time to sit on your rear ends or doing that, or Steve and Chad, or someone's got to drop out. No, we got a chance, finally. And I'm not counting Arnold Kennedy. Maybe since Pete Wilson to actually get somebody, a Republican in the governorship, or a center-right freedom liberty type, however you want to say it. I mean, both of Steve just happen to be registered Republicans. I would recommend they would decline to state, but hey, I would want my name associated with the Republican Party, but that's a story for a different day. Well, you've heard it 152,000 times, but maybe we'll repeat it 153,000 times here in the near future as why the Republican Party, but they're trying to get whatever's left of that support. These things are absolutely beyond incredible. switch topics here for a sec before my head really does explode. Newsom files a lawsuit in Dr. Oz to racist civil rights, yada, yada, yada. Well, let's give you just the background on that. From the great Mark Brown, from ABC7. Here we go.
Story we first brought you last night on Eyewitness News. Governor Gavin Newsom's office is filing a civil rights complaint after Dr. Mehmet Oz targeted the local Armenian American community in a series of videos about healthcare fraud. The complaint calls for an investigation, accusing Dr. Oz of spewing, quote, baseless and racially charged allegations. Dr. Oz, who is the administrator for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, posted the video on the federal agency's official social media account. In this video, he's seen standing in front of a family-run bakery and grocery store in Van Nuys, claiming...
So that was the basis, and Newsom and Rob Bonner and whomever are going to roll out there and just sue, cut them a new one. They thought they had an issue. Oh, we're going to get them this time. William Lajeunesse from Fox News, after all the other reports, Amy Reichert down in San Diego started looking into the hospice and child care. Nick Shirley's out here. William Lajeunesse put a good report out on the old Fox News. Let's see what his investigation the past couple of days has revealed about hospice funds and seniors in Los Angeles.
Companies, offshore owners, corrupt doctors here in LA scamming billions for patients that don't exist and care they never provide. Now, many seniors don't even know they've been enrolled until they need real medical care but can't get it because the hospice controls their Medicare number.
The hospice controls the Medicare number, not the state of California, not the federal government. They put the hospice in charge of saying, oh yeah, we're just legitimate as heck. You talk about something rife with fraud?
They're human traffickers. They're trafficking beneficiaries.
Hospice fraud in LA.
Hospice is crazy here. You've got hospice that's grown sevenfold in the last 5 years. They represent about $3.5 billion of fraud, we believe, just in LA County.
We are ground zero for the scammers.
Sheila Clark says hundreds of LA hospices falsely bill the government for unnecessary care, often cycling patients from one provider to another.
So there you go. You heard it. Human trafficking. That human trafficking is not just one very important part of it, is the pimps and the cartels that have the hookers walking up and down the street and wherever. And we've been through that issue a lot. And we will in the future. The labor traffic where they got the kids working in the meat packing plants, picking fruit and whatever else in the country illegally. So because they can abuse the hell out of them. Also, now we're human trafficking seniors and all these fake, phony hospice claims. Child health care, everything else. They use the emotional heartstrings to tug on you, to screw you over, grab your wallet, and make sure there ain't a couple pennies left in there they ain't got.
It's a non-ending benefit. That hospice is making, $4,000 a month indefinitely.
Patients are bought and sold like trading cards. Ads tell recruiters to post up at busy shopping centers or senior living addresses to knock on doors. They promise patients walkers, wheelchairs, and can earn $300 for any senior over 62 they sign up, sick or not.
Their entire job is to go and find seniors that they can get money for.
Those patients and their Medicare numbers are then sold to providers.
A Medicare MIB number is more lucrative than a credit card.
How much money are federal taxpayers being taken for?
Millions, billions.
These are Russian Armenian gangs.
Millions, billions, maybe trillions. How long has this crap been going on? And Newsom and his yo-yo Rob Bonner that we're going to sue because That it racist. Racist to stop fraud. Racist to what they if it wasn't the government doing this, if you attempted to do this, this would make what Bernie Madoff did. Not even look at, but Bernie Madoff wouldn't even be a piker compared to what's being pulled off on us. Just in this program.
Mafia that are leading a lot of these efforts, we believe, have been able to corrupt and work with doctors who are willing to lie.
If you don't have the physician, you don't have anything.
One doctor billed the government $120 million in a single year, claiming to oversee 1,900 patients. With almost 2,000 hospice agencies, LA County has more than 36 states combined, and 30 times more than either Florida or New York.
30 times more than Florida or New York. 30 times. Yeah, they're only we're maybe twice as much. We're losing population, but let's use round numbers. Okay, Florida and New York combined would equal the state of California. So we're 15 times if you combine those two on equal population. That is not statistically possible. The amount of probability that would be like 0.090,000 yards long before you got to a 1/10 decimal. Out there, past Mars where Musk wants to go.
18% of the whole country's home health care billing is coming out of Los Angeles County. How is that possible?
And take a look at this map, a cluster of 287 hospitals.
It's not possible. 2.5 million. 10 million. Well, 4 million. I don't know what number if he's used in LA or LA County. That's only 1 to 2% if he's using the whole county of the entire U.S. population. And we got 18%, 9 times more. The number is staggering. How much? And it's 15 times overall. How far does this thing go?
Hospice providers in a 2-mile radius, some in strip malls, unmarked buildings, even a wrecking yard and vacant lot.
All of it is just paperwork. I could fill that out in Kazakhstan if I want and get a hospice license waiting for me.
It's real human life, and it has consequences.
The problem, says Clark, once a beneficiary's number is assigned to a hospice, that patient can't get care anywhere else, including a hospital.
We need to listen to these people when they say, I've been scammed.
Now, yesterday, Governor Newsom filed a civil rights complaint against Dr. Oz for, quote, unfairly targeting the Armenian community. However, the governor's own auditor, state and federal prosecutors say Armenian American organized crime is behind much of the fraud here.
The state freaking auditor. So, mean Bill Essayli and Mehmet Oz and Donald Trump, the orange man, and all that crap, or that. What about the state California auditor said this stuff has been going on for years? And our legislature, our governor, our commissioners, where's Rob Bonner suing? Or Attorney General, where are the prosecution cases? Oh, we did one out of 27 billion of them. This is absolute. Oh. There's no explanation for this. None. You cannot get to. You can't even wrap your head around this, the amount of fraud that's been going on. And they want to stack more with the mileage tax. That's why your car registration's $500, $1,000, $2,000 a year when every other state there isn't practically a state that's over $100 a year to register. It's very stupid.
1 minute, Roy.
You got it as Charles Bedford reminding that. I mean, here in a minute. It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous. Again, the state auditors out here saying all this fraud's going on in the hospice and the Armenians are behind it. You can't, if we don't stop this stuff this year, if we don't get our heads out of our rooms and start
30 seconds.
It's over. They'll get the mileage tax in, and you won't even be able to afford to go down the street to get groceries, much less go to work. Then what? I don't know. We're going to hit the mighty net here in 2 seconds. As Sean just said.
Here we go, 10 seconds.
Pick it up.
For those who support America, patriotswitch.com.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
There's that funky slide guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday, live at 5:30 on the Mighty Met 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire in the form of today AM band, showing your vast video audience in the UFB Network, Rumble, X, YouTube. Check us out, subscribe, type in iNewsWire, Roy Bleckert. You'll see my nice, smiling, shining face. We usually have Dr. Kelly on today. She's out this week on that. I think she's doing something with Fox or something, that little dinky network over there of that. We should have her back on next week to get her insights and everything, find out what she's doing over there. But it's been absolutely crazy. I mean, Steve Hilton, Sheriff Chad Bianco came out with a proposal, junked the car, stopped the car registration ripoff. Bianco's cap's $25 a year, Hilton's $71. Like I said, I got an old Chevy pickup, $300 a year. If you got a new car, it's almost $1,000 to $2,000 and up. And God help you if you own a Corvette or something. I think they're even higher than that. We better, in 26, get our proverbial heads out of our rear ends, because Democrat policies are burning this frickin' state to the ground. Literally. With the gas tax mileage proposal coming up, the insanity of that, $4,000 more per year average. If you go to work, it's even worse. If you go from Riverside to LA 5 days a week, 21 days a month, that's $756. It's going to be almost $10,000 a year. They're going to take so that's what their proposal is 30 cents per mile tax. Mind you, they're not taking any sales tax or the AB 32 tax or the fee, the 75 cents a gallon extra we pay at the refinery, and the list goes on. We're paying over $2 a gallon in taxes, mostly to the state of California, and a gallon of gas. You better get it together. We need more. We got to win this in June, get Steve and Chad in the top two. Then there's no question. We're at least going to start straightening this stuff out. Bill Essayli was down, and the LA cops, as they carry off the agitator you see of that, Essayli said, we're not playing. Agitators carried off as ICE restores peace in LA. They tried assault in a federal building. That didn't work. And it's not going to work. We're not tolerating stupid anymore. Plain and freaking simple. We're done with it. We're not having it. Not happening on our watch. Here's the Los Angeles police. Freedom News TV. See if the clip plays. Here we go. That's them beating a protester. Los Angeles Police City. Not ICE. Not Trump. Karen Bass's, LA's cops taking a protester. And you see the F-ICE and all that stuff that's on the... They're graffitiing, making your town look even more ghetto than it already is. We're flipping done with this stuff. Quick one. Elon Musk says Tesla's ending the S and X production, converting Fremont factory lines to make Optimus robots. Electric cars. Like they said, they got them up to, even in California, I think 15%. They capped out. Now the subsidy's gone, they're declining. Sales are declining all over the place on electric cars. Mainly in California because electricity is going up at a higher rate than gas, if you can believe it. Well, you can believe it. Look at your electricity bills. Highest in the nation, on top of highest gas prices, on top of every other stupid policy they want to inflict on you. We've said for many, many, many years, the 21st century slaves, well, 20th, 21st century slaves, are those who've come over to this country illegally. Because people can exploit them, from human trafficking to labor to anything else. And if somebody can be exploited, somebody will. That's why the United States of America was founded on, is not exploiting you, government or otherwise, or a cartel or anything else. And the government was there to protect you from the stuff, not feed into it. That's why the Tea Party was on, the Boston Tea Party and the Revolution, the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution and where we are today. That's why we are the greatest country in the history of the world, where opportunity rings even as screwed up as we've got it now, more than it's ever been in society. The untold story of illegal immigration consequences exposes Democrats' hypocrisy. How could that be? You would think that would be impossible. No. It's those evil white, the whole thing. Racist. It's from John Loftus in the Daily Caller. Here's the untold story about illegal immigration, all the trash and debris discarded on American properties by migrants passing through. Michelle Davis, Arizona's small town, only 8 miles from the U.S.-Mexican border, told the local outlet that she has grown increasingly fed up with the litter on her property, and the list goes on. The collateral damage. It's been that we have allowed to go on. And the acceleration of it under the Biden administration, probably 30 plus million, was probably the true number. Nobody knows. One of the, they take our money and they give them a bottle of water. If you really wanted to help them, If all of you that were just unlimited immigration, then why don't you sponsor them? Why don't you have them in your home? Why don't you pay the freight for them until they become an American citizen? Oh, but you'll get more deaths. You'll have the government take money out of our pocket and give it to more deaths and pull on the emotional heartstrings. That's how you're seeing the hospice fraud, the child care fraud, and everything else, because it's become a cottage industry. Non-government organizations. 98.7% of them are criminal frickin' enterprises. Arnold Schwarzenegger, former governor, TV actor, was on The View, and they thought they were going to corner him on this. Hopefully, here we go.
If you are an immigrant, you're an immigrant in this country. Yeah. Did you have a visceral reaction to what they're doing, what ICE is doing, when you see the videos of it?
Well, I tell you, you said that the immigrant, I'm so proud and happy that I...
Let's see if the thing will play. How does it go from one to the other? You put these things on and it still will not work.
Was embraced by the American people like that. I mean, imagine I came over here with the age of 21, with absolutely nothing. And then to create a career like that. I mean, in no other, the beautiful family that I've created, could you do that? Yeah. Every single thing, if it's my bodybuilding career, if it's my acting career, becoming governor, the beautiful family that I've created, all of this is because of America.
That's true.
And so this is why I'm so happy to see firsthand that this is the greatest country in the world, and this is the land of opportunity.
It's the greatest country in the history of the world and the land of opportunity. None other than Arnold Schwarzenegger. And the people clap finally. Maybe people on The View. If Trump said that, if I said that, they'd been booing, hollering, racist, the whole thing. I know that witch with the red hair. It's like, well, why didn't she jump on Arnold about that?
If you are an immigrant, you're an immigrant in this country. Yeah. Did you have a visceral reaction to what they're doing, what ICE is doing, when you see the videos of it?
Well, I tell you, you said that the immigrant, I'm so proud and happy that I was embraced by the American.
He was embraced by the American people. You know, those mean ICE cops, those racists, they're just looking to... First, they want to shoot them all. Oh, here's the nut mice.
It came to America. I was asked to do, on July 4th, a big speech, the keynote speech at Mount Vernon, where George Washington was laid to rest, and where he lived and all that, to celebrate the 250th anniversary of America, the existence of America. And I will be doing the speech there. They asked me because I'm an immigrant, and there will be 7,000 some people there, and there will be people that will be sworn in and will become citizens that day.
That's great.
So it's really a great celebration. And this is what this is all about.
Legal citizens. Arnold went through the process. We let 1 million in per year. You 5 cackling idiot hens up there, why aren't you jumping on Arnold for saying exactly the same thing Donald Trump has said? Or throngs of us for the right policy and your stupidity. And I'm trying to be nice. Why don't you jump on Arnold?
About is to celebrate people becoming Americans and coming to America and all that. And so I just think the world of the great kind of a history that we have with immigrants in America. But the key thing also is at the same time that we got to do things legal. That is the important thing, you know. So you got to do things legal, and those people that are doing illegal things in America and that are foreigners, they are not smart. Because when you come to America, you're a guest, and you have to behave like a guest.
You have to come here legally. You have to go through the process. You have to learn English. You have to adopt to our culture, not the culture of Somalia or China or El Salvador or Mexico or Russia or whomever. Look at Arnold's telling him you're making a big freaking mistake. None of you 5 cackling hens went through the process. I did, and that's why it is there. You wouldn't have the trouble, 98.7% of the trouble in the schools. If the people who came to this country here learned English, taught their kids English, got them into school with the ability, with the tools where they could learn and become productive American citizens and have a bright future ahead of themselves.
Like when I go to someone's house and I'm a guest, then I will do everything I can to keep things clean and to make my bed and to do everything that is the right thing.
What's the cackling hen that's putting her hand on Arnold or they're doing that? And he's telling him the exact same thing. If somebody comes into your house, nobody has a right to come into your private property. America is our private property. You don't have a right to come in here and tell us what to do. On top of that, rip us off and tell us this, that, and every other thing. Where's Miss Richie that's making, Prissy that's making $20 million a year, whatever, on this TV show and telling us how we're a bunch of idiots and don't know what we're talking and we're racist, homophobic crap? Why aren't they jumping on Arnold? Because he's in with them. He's in the celebrity Hollywood culture. Yeah.
To do rather than committing a crime or being abusive or something like that. So that doesn't really work in this country. So I think the important thing is when you become an immigrant to think about, okay, I go to America because I want to use America for the great opportunities that America has.
Voila! You come here to use for the great opportunities that you have, that you can create. Not who you can steal from, rape, pillage, and kill, or run cartels, or anything else. Or be exploited in human trafficking. The reason you should come to the United States, and I get it, is for that opportunity Arnold just talked about.
In education, in jobs, creating a family, all of those kind of things. Then you have to think about, okay, if I get all of those things from America, then I have to give something back.
What a concept. I get all this opportunity, I have to give something back to America. The place, the people that gave me the opportunity that I have nowhere else in the world. 95% of the world's 8 billion plus population do not have the opportunity we have in America. You should be appreciative that we have a process to help you succeed, not trying to burn it down.
But you have a responsibility as an immigrant to give back to America and to pay back to America and to go and do something for your community.
You notice he says, you, the immigrant, have a responsibility to pay back America. To thank them, to be appreciative of what you have, what you've been given by the great people of the United States of America, to have that family, to succeed.
no money whatsoever. Give something back to after-school programs, Special Olympics, or whatever it is.
And again, I was no big fan of the governor of Arnold in California. But I will tell you, go back on it. When he first came to America 30 years, he listened to a guy named George Putnam, who I did. Longtime broadcaster out here. Passed away, about 6 or 7 years ago. Longtime newsman, KTTV, KTLA, had a radio show for God knows how long. Arnold used to listen. One of the first people he listened to was George Putnam when he came to America. That's why he probably has, and when he was running for governor, and then when he would call into George's show, he would thank him for showing him the tools and how to succeed. And to be appreciative of the opportunity he and others were given. I'm sure that's not all the reasons, but it's the reasons I know of why Arnold's saying what he's saying. And before he got mixed up in the Kennedy Hollywood crowd, he used to roll these concepts of what he's talking about all the time. Our streets are safer. We're having a big argument. Well, why? Our crime is down. Murder rates are down. ICE and FBI say it's because in the last year, what has changed? The others are saying, oh, it's local police. That is, they give no correlation to that. One thing we do know is we've deported, either by self or through the government, 2.5 million people at least. Maybe 10% of the ones that came under the 4 years of the Biden reign of terror. So, because now it's all, well, we're not so clear why the homicide and the crime rate is down in the last year. Well, we got some, most likely, my opinion, some phony baloney guy to where, it's the local police department. Yeah, in Portland and LA, oh yeah. Defund the police. Again, it's 5,000 times imperative that we need to stop this stuff. Or we will just we'll flush, we'll start, and we've dug ourselves a big hole in California. But if we don't straighten this out in California, it will take the rest of the country down, no matter how hard you try. Look at the stats you saw from John LaJuez from Fox News. Just LA can outfraud the rest of the country like you've never seen. And that's only, even if it was the whole LA County, that's only 25%. If it's LA City, that's only 10% of the California population. That's just in hospice fraud. Can you imagine what the heck else is going on here? hit some of the local news over the weekend before we roll out of here. Hemet cops make mounds of arrest compliance check, sweeps violators off the streets. They had a crackdown on crime, like you should have. And it freaking works. Monster cage, serial sex offender slapped with 34 years to life in Corona attacks. Another one off the streets, Miguel Angel Vasquez was convicted on those charges. Church volunteer gets 138 years to life. Assaulted 5 young girls over 8 years from Orange to Riverside County. Ex-girlfriend arrested in a Marietta murder shocker. Also a second suspect in Alabama. And another woman. What's the murder? What's this in the murder homicide arrest? Women all of a sudden. Are you going to be retarded like us all the time? Moreno Valley woman was busted on a manslaughter charge for the killing of Xavier Cox. What a deal. It's beyond. Beyond heartbreaking, mind-boggling, can't believe it, but that's what we're living, and that's what we got to straighten out. We better straighten this stuff out. Or it will completely overwhelm us. No more truer statement than this. Democratic policies are burning our state to the ground. And we better empty the reservoirs fighting that fire before it wipes everything out and it's too late. I hope we get our act together. I hope finally the Republican, center-right, freedom, liberty types will get the strategy right. We'll get Steve and Chad in the top 2. Start working on some of the other races. It'll be fun. See if we get there. Get the right music. That'll do it for today. As we usually say at this time, mandatory you're back here in 23 hours. Why? You're the best darn show in the whole wide world. Till then, see ya.
The proceeding was a paid program. Views and
All right, Roy. Unfortunately, you see what's going on with people leaving California, like the one moved to Texas. They just elected a Democrat down there in a seat that was run by Republicans.
People won't listen to me. I told them clowns in Texas, you import these Californians and they will bulldoze you.
Yeah.
It's happening to a T. People keep sticking their heads in the sand.
Yeah.
They better get their heads out of you-know-where before it's too freaking late.
Yeah, well, don't hold your breath. All right, take it easy, Roy.